Here is circuit number 8 in the SparkFun Inventors Kit series I'm running here. So, what are we doing today? Well, today we are using this guy right here. This is a servo. So, servo is like a motor, except where a motor just continuously spins around. With the servo, what we can do is we can actually control the position. So we can, rotate this little guy around and keep it at a certain position with the servo. Okay, with the motor, we wouldn't be able to do that. It just keeps running. So we just basically hook up the servo to the board with these wires. That's simple enough. And then where the complication comes is with our program and how we control the servo. So why don't I set up the circuit first and we'll see how it goes. Here's our fully built circuit. So just a couple of things here. To hook up the servo, you get this little end piece here. It's just like hooking up the breadboard. You just stick the wires in. Of course, make sure you've got the colors all matched up so that they're all going to the right places. And then the servo itself, I put the little plastic piece on. I had a little trouble. I just had to give it a little extra push. I didn't want to break it because, it's small and sensitive. But it had a nice little click in the end and fit right on there. So make sure you get it right down on there. But other than that, not an issue. Pretty simple to set up. So I'm going to plug this bad boy in. And let's head over to that IDE. Here we are in the IDE for this circuit number 8 here. Okay, so what we've got is just the way to control the servo to make it move around. The different thing about this program is we are going to include a library. You can see that right here. So what this allows us to do is a bunch of other programmers in Arduino, using Arduino around the world, have already come up with ways to control a servo. Instead of having us write the code all ourselves, we can just include this library and use these commands to make the control easier for us, so we don't have to program everything from scratch. So here, we basically declare the servo. Okay, so this allows us to access it and all the commands in the library. We create an object, is what this is called, okay? So let me just read here. It says you are allowed to control up to 11 objects? 12 servos, a maximum of 12. So there you go, you can do up to 12 servos at once. Of course, if you're doing that, they take up a lot of power. You probably need some extra batteries, but that's up to you. So here we go. We use this attach command in our setup here to say basically that it's where the servo is attached to. So here we have it attached to 9. That's where we're going to send the controls and everything to, or whatever. So it's all good. So our main loop, you'll see we're basically just moving the servo around. So if you want the servo to go to a position, it will just basically do it at its full speed. So as fast as it can turn. So you just tell it where to go, like this is 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 0 degrees. This delay in between each degree movement is just to give it time to move there, because if you tell it to go somewhere else right away, it's not going to stop where you want. So this basically will move, stop, but to get like a more of a continuous motion, we're going to use a little for loop with a bunch of intermediate positions. So we use the loop here to just say how many positions, and then we put a much smaller delay in between, so there's not a static stop. So just reading here, it says that you can't update it faster than 20 milliseconds. So that's the minimum amount of time that you can have the delay for. Any less and any update to the servo is going to be a waste because it can only process that fast. And of course, it can't move faster than its full speed. So you might have to play around with it to get your motion right, but you can, speed it up or slow it down by changing the delay. And so I will verify, of course, and then upload, and we will see how this servo moves. Here's our servo running with the code here. As you can see, these motions here, that was running at full speed, and here's with the small delay. You can see much tinier movements, allowing it to move a lot slower, of course. So yeah, you put in your code, you change the delay to whatever you want. Remember, the lowest delay you can have, 20 milliseconds. and the highest it can rotate is at full speed. So yeah, and if you're using lots of servos, don't forget your batteries, okay? That was pretty easy. We'll see you next time.